I don't have the time. This perspective, if you are using this language, is coming from lack. Just like the perspective, I don't have money, it is coming from a vantage point that says there is not enough, right? If it's the past or the future, is really all just in our imagination. The past is just an imagination because it's not happening right now, is it? The future is also just an imagination. It's not happening right now. You know what is happening right now? The present moment. You're walking around like, I don't have time. I don't have control of my time. You do. You always make time for what matters to you most, because using the words I don't have already coming from lack makes you feel so It makes you feel like you don't have anything, like you are behind. And we never want to go about life from a place of scarcity or begging. We want to remember our abundance. Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Nicole, your flow-based life and business coach. And on my channel, we talk about all things abundance, including money mindset, welfare practices, self-care, all things to do with manifesting, visualization, and even business. So in today's episode, I'm continuing a series where I teach you how to change your language patterns to create an experience of life that is more abundant. Now, in this series, I'm basically teaching you what to change your words with, so what to say instead of. So for today's topic, we're gonna do what to say instead of I don't have the time. So many of us have so many goals, intentions, and plans that we never really get around to, and we find ourselves using the words I don't have time like it's the truth. And like with this entire series, I'm here to remind you that you are in control of your experience. So anytime you are feeling lack, whether it's lacking in money or lacking in time, this is about your perspective. And so when you want to experience more abundance and ease and spaciousness in your life, you're going to have to learn how to use your words to shape that desired experience of reality. I recently did a training with my co-coach and neurolinguistic programming expert, Tanya, on rewiring your mindset and changing your language patterns. We even did an episode called Why Words Matter, talking about the importance of our words and how they neurologically shape our realities. And so if you are curious on learning more about the science behind the mind and our language choices, definitely go check out those resources. They will be linked in the description below, and you can also sign up for the replay of that workshop as well as watch the podcast episode. So back to today's topic. I don't have time. This is something you've probably said to yourself when you are trying to break out from an existing habit and maybe into one that is more helpful, like getting yourself to the gym or having a consistent morning meditation routine. Or perhaps it's having the time to actually do a project that you've always wanted to do. For example, maybe getting started on a painting. Or maybe it's going on a morning hike or a coastal walk with your friends. There are so many things that we say that we want to do, but our own excuse to ourselves is, I don't have the time. This perspective, if you are using this language, is coming from lack. Just like the perspective, I don't have money, it is coming from a vantage point that says, there is not enough, right? In abundance mindset, we're flipping that switch. We are reminding ourselves of the fact that we are not in lack. In fact, we have a limitless amount of money. We have a limitless amount of time available to us. Just because it is not here right now doesn't mean that I don't have it. So just like I taught in the money episode where I said what to say instead of I can't afford it, I started to invite you to think about how can you afford it, or to say, I just don't value it enough, and that's why I'm choosing not to put my money on it. It's going to be very similar in relation to your time. Just like money, time is a resource that we have access to. Contrary, though, to what you might be believing up to this point, which is maybe also the root of the scarcity, is that you don't have much time available to you. Our minds quantify time based on the numbers on the clock and the 24-hour time span that we give ourselves, and the markings that we call days, months, and years. These structures for understanding and labeling the construct of time are really just frameworks that humankind has created in order to grasp our relationship with this thing called time. But in reality, time, if it's the past or the future, is really all just in our imagination. The past is just an imagination because it's not happening right now, is it? The future is also just an imagination. It's not happening right now. You know what is happening right now? The present moment. So this concept of time, it's kind of really warped and crazy to try to understand it this way. So I totally get it if your mind is like melting right now. But to put it simply, I want you to think about how all you ever really have is time. We always say, I don't have time. But all you really ever have is time. You are constantly living in the present moment. But when you don't have time to do the things that you want, it's because you're not using your present moment to direct it towards the things that you want. Instead, you're using the present moment to be distracted with the past, or to be distracted with the future, or to be doing something else that isn't actually of highest value to you. We all wish that we had more time, and that's why we use this language all the time. But really, what we're asking ourselves to look into is, where are we spending the present moment? Okay? Mind blowing. So in this video, I'm going to teach you 4 different language rephrases that you can use, or a programming shift that you can apply, so that you can stop using the word I don't have time. Because using the words I don't have already coming from lack makes you feel so It makes you feel like you don't have anything, like you are behind. And we never want to go about life from a place of scarcity or begging. We want to remember our abundance. So, remembering that we have an infinite number of the ever unfolding present moment. There is no such thing as the past, because that's all imagined, or the future. We just have an ever unfolding present moment. We have an infinite amount of that, as long as we can appreciate it and work with it in this moment. Then we get to change our language to experience the fullness of this moment. And not only that, it's to take responsibility for the things that you do and don't do. So those of you who have goals to lose weight, to run a marathon, to be able to apply for that dream job, or to start a business, you keep saying, I want to, but I don't have the time. This is also an invitation to take responsibility for the results you're creating. Because again, your time, your present moment, and where you give your attention is the only thing you ever have control over. You can't control the past or the future. You can't control what other people do or think. You can control what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and what you're choosing to focus your attention to in this present moment. Okay? So it might be a little bit of a call out for some of you. So let's start with the first rephrase. Instead of saying, I don't have time, I want you to start saying, I just don't value it enough right now. Or, it's not a priority for me right now. I don't have time becomes it's not a priority for me right now. So when you say you want to do something and you catch your mind offering you the statement, I don't have time, reframe it and say, it's just not a priority for me right now. And then ask yourself, does that feel good? You want to go to the gym, you want to lose weight because your health is suffering, okay? I don't have time for it. I don't have time becomes, it's just not a priority for me right now, then ask yourself, how does that feel? Do I like that it's not a priority for me right now? And explore that deeper. Maybe your friend wants to hang out and you're like, I don't have time, right? Instead of just saying, I don't have time, it's going to improve your relationship dynamic. It's going to improve your communication skills and the clarity that you can articulate how you actually feel when you instead change those words to, hanging out right now is very important to me, but in comparison to some of the things I need to get done, it's not a priority for me right now to go out on a Tuesday night in the middle of the week. But it doesn't mean I don't care about you. It doesn't mean that I'm not interested. It just means that right now I've just got a lot of things that I want to put first. Trust me, your friends, your family, your partner, your kids will understand this when you learn to use your words to serve your relationships, to articulate why you do what you do. It's actually going to help people relate to you better. And it's going to maybe even invite them to respect those things that you're choosing to draw a boundary on. So many of us are making excuses for things that we want or doing things that we don't want because we don't know how to communicate. And this is part of the language tools that you can develop when you learn how to consciously create your life with your language, which again, if you want to check out the webinar or the podcast, Why Words Matter, which both elaborate so powerfully on this topic, they're both free. Go check it out in the description below. So, when something is not a priority to you, you're basically saying that it is not number one. It is not the top of my list. A lot of people have the misconception that a priority is multiple things, like priorities. I called my client out on this recently and I was like, hang on, priority is one, singular. Okay, what is at the top of your priority list? If spending your time, again, your present moment, which is all you ever really have, is not best spent here, or you don't feel like going to the gym today, or you don't feel like hanging out with a certain person, you don't feel like working on your business, then take ownership of that instead of just saying, I don't have time. You do. You have this present moment, you're just choosing to spend it elsewhere. It's just not a priority. It's not my singular focus that I really want to give my effort and my energy and my attention to. The second language switch that you can make is I prefer to spend my time on blank instead. So instead of saying, I don't have time, you want to say, I prefer to spend my time on blank instead. Okay? This is you being able to articulate what you choose to be of highest value to spend your time on. Just like money, you spend your money, you exchange it for a value. You get goods, services, and you get value from those goods and services for exchanging your money. Your time, your present moment, your present attention is spent in exchange for a value of something else, in exchange for an experience. So when you say, you know what, I don't have time, you can instead help yourself understand what you are telling yourself you do have time for, or you prefer to spend time on. And this is a great way to call yourself out, right? Again, I don't have time to go to the gym. I don't have time to work on my project.
I don't have time to build my side hustle. I just prefer to spend my time watching Netflix all night.
Like, this will call you out real hard, real fast, okay? Because that's really all you're doing. And sometimes you need to show your brain that that's what you're doing and that's how you're self-sabotaging in order to take responsibility. And remember, you're spending your time, you're spending your attention. Okay, so you're not never focusing on anything. You're always focusing on something, but you're just showing your brain that your focus is actually not where you want it to be. If you want to learn how to actually act on the things that you say you want to work on, then that's about using your language to actually direct you into effective action, which is again, a tool, a pattern that you can learn inside of my programs, inside of my workshops and webinars. In my Embody program, I actually work with women through a 12-week time frame to get them from feeling stuck, feeling unaligned, feeling uninspired, and maybe even stagnant and lacking confidence in all areas of their life, and bringing them towards transformation, change, empowerment, and unique alignment in all those areas of their life. And this is one of the tools that we use. We help them use neuro-linguistic programming, language pattern shifts like this, that reprogram the things that have been hardwired into your mindset that just feel like they're sending you on autopilot. And these are the hardwired programs that we're actually learning to decondition, and we're learning to create new programs, new habits, new patterns through this process of embodiment. And then we're also bringing it into alignment to what the most abundant, aligned, values-based version of you looks like. So if you are interested in undergoing that program and that process, definitely check it out. All the details will also be in the description below. And if you want a special discount code, you can check that out in the description as well for those of you watching this video exclusively. So, onto the third language shift that you can make. So instead of saying, I don't have time, you can change it for, I make time for what matters to me most. I make time for what matters to me most is a statement that acknowledges what it is that matters to you and acknowledging that you decide what is of value. When you are saying, I don't have time because my boss made me stay in, or my partner told me to do the dishes and that's why now I'm tired and I can't work on my side project, or I can't go for a walk, I don't have time because I don't know, all the traffic was so bad today and now I'm just exhausted from being mentally fried. Whatever excuses your brain gives you, I want you to acknowledge, I make time for what matters to me. This is a truth. You're walking around like, I don't have time, I don't have control of my time. You do. You always make time for what matters to you most. So even though on the conscious level, you're saying, I'm ready to start my business, I'm ready to start making moves, I'm ready to start getting my health on track, I'm ready to start making progress on that project. Just because you're consciously saying that and you're saying that out the front, if you're not acting on it, it's likely because its value and your perception of it is not matching. Your perceived importance of this thing, this task, doesn't line up to what you value. Instead, you might value chilling out and vegging out on the couch and watching Netflix way more than you value being able to make an impact on people's lives and getting paid for it. You might say that it's of higher value to work on your business or to make this project happen or to lose weight and feel confident in your body, but really there's a level of discomfort that you're not willing to step into because you're more comfortable in the familiar, where you can have a certain experience like sitting on the couch versus getting uncomfortable and actually doing something different that is in honor of your actual highest value. Again, you're just lying to yourself and saying, you know, I really do value making an impact and getting paid doing what I'm good at, but you're not acting on it, then maybe you don't really value it that much. Maybe you're just telling yourself you do, but you don't. When push comes to shove, if you are really, really audited on everything that you spent your time on, it would be a direct reflection of what you value. Just like if we were to audit your bank account. What you spend on is what you value. You value having a house over your head, a roof over your head, then of course you're paying your rent. You're putting that over spending on a holiday. But let's say you really, really value being on a holiday. Well, then you'd be probably overdue on your house bills, but spending crazy on your next plane ticket and other expenses, pre-booking your next holiday. So just like how we can audit your bank account and see exactly what you value most, we can do the same with your time. So great practice is to actually audit your time, because that shows you what matters to you most. And if it is not reflective to the things you say you value, then you need to check. You need to do a proper check on what it is that you do truly value and how you're living in alignment to that. And sometimes living in alignment to what you value now at this point in time will require uncomfortable action. It will require you to get into situations that you are not necessarily familiar with. And anything that is unfamiliar is uncomfortable. And if it's uncomfortable, it's going to cause resistance and friction. And that is okay. You're going to have thoughts surface and excuses come up for why you can't do it or why it's too hard, but you're gonna have to power through it and find the commitment to the why. Okay? So the final language switch that you can make, instead of saying I don't have time, is it's more enjoyable for me to insert the activity. The focus point of this statement is enjoy. You do what creates the least amount of friction for you. Just like I previously mentioned, the thing that creates the least amount of friction for you is likely going to be the most effortless and therefore the most enjoyable and easiest thing for you to choose. Catch this, even if it does not serve you anymore. Yes, it's more enjoyable and easier to just think about starting the project or think about going to the gym or be motivated to do meditation after reading a meditation guide or hearing a guru talk about the benefits of meditation. Yes, it's enjoyable to think about it. It's easy to get excited, but to actually do it and to actually commit the time to it, that is the ultimate declaration that you value it, that you believe in it. Your time is the most important, precious commodity because it's your present moment. It's you being alive and here and now. If there's any part of you that values something, give it your full attention. This is why those moments when you're so in love or when you're fully present and immersed in an experience, they stand out to your memory like vivid moments. They get fully ingrained into your system because you are fully in that moment. You are fully immersed. When you are fully immersed in anything, you are giving it your utmost energy, your best of your best. So understanding that you are more inclined to do what is most enjoyable and easy and familiar, then knowing that maybe some of the things that you want to do are not yet familiar, they're not yet enjoyable, they're not yet easy, but they can be with repetition, then maybe it's about committing to a period of uncomfortable yeses. Saying yes regardless of the discomfort, knowing that it is actually going to eventually be easier, it's going to be eventually way more enjoyable than it is now, and that it's only a temporary period of discomfort. When you say, I don't have time, and you just deny yourself the opportunity to adapt and change and to really understand what's going on, you're blocking yourself off of being able to move forward into change. So if you want to actually stop limiting yourself and falling back into unhelpful cycles and just not getting anything done, not making any changes, then you need to start catching yourself when you say, I don't have time. When you say, I don't, like, I don't know, I don't have time, I don't have money, when it's a definite line, it's basically a wall. You literally don't have any room. You're literally shutting your brain down. Now you can use your brain to help work with you to find reasons that support you to keep going, to actually try, to problem solve why you can versus why you can't. Then you can train yourself to actually productively move towards the things you want and to create active change wherever there is areas of your life that are stagnant or are creating friction or are misaligned for you. And so this is what we teach in my Embody program. Neurolinguistic programming is an incredible tool that we use to actually change the programs and the paradigms that are hardwired into our mental frameworks that dictate our results and our behaviors unconsciously, all day, every day. And so many of us walk around our lives saying words like, I don't have time, I don't have money, I just can't, I don't know. And we limit ourselves from being able to work with our own biology, our own intelligence, our own brilliance that can work with us to create the life that we want, but we just haven't been taught the tools to actually harness those capabilities and to change our life from the inside out. This is what Embody is all about. And this is just one of the many tools that we use in the program to help women who are stuck or constantly feel overworked, overwhelmed, and exhausted by their life, constantly are using their language against themselves or feeling like they're constantly starting things and never finishing them, feeling unfulfilled. Women who are in this plane of just doing too much, trying to be too much, and just feeling so burnt out and exhausted and misaligned, into a life of ease, effortless flow, abundance, and embodiment. Learning how to self-regulate your emotions, learning how to master your mind, how to actually feel your feminine energy and your masculine, and how to balance in the dance of being able to be and to also be in the doing and get things done productively. One of the things I'm so passionate about is helping you change the way you think, because the mind is such a powerful tool. And from this video alone, I hope that you have learned 4 powerful ways to change your language today around the saying, I don't have time. If you are interested in more videos like this, or to learn more about the Embody program and any of the other free workshops and resources I have talked about, please check the description below and make sure you check out those links so that you can up-level the way you think, and as a result, up-level your entire life. And if you want more videos like this, check out the rest of the series on the playlist that this episode is added to. That is all for today, my lovelies. I will catch you in my next video. Bye. If you want to take your abundance to another level, I want to help you. I'm a life and business coach for women who want to step into their next level by activating wealth from the inside out. To help you take your first step to unlocking true abundance and your aligned potential, I'm giving you free resources, workshops, and masterclasses that you can access on demand right now. Check out www.nicoleconception.co/free-resources to get your hands on it. For more videos like this, check out the other playlists and series I have on this channel, and don't forget to hit subscribe to be notified whenever I drop a new video. And if you're more of the podcast type, check out Freedom in Flow, where I dive even deeper into the concepts that will help you create less hustle and more flow, abundance, and alignment in your life and business. Now, if you're a reader, you'll want to subscribe to my email list for unfiltered, honest, and most importantly, applicable life upgrades. Now, don't be a stranger. Connect with me on Instagram and TikTok and send me a message. I love getting to know you and your story. It's why I do this. Okay, my lovely, that's all for now. I'll see you soon. Signing off, Nicole.